Coming up on Lindenwood News, the St. Charles mayor shares his thoughts on how the temp tag plan is going. Plus, a new program is coming to St. Charles to prevent speeding. We have everything you need to know about the plan. And the Missouri policy on sending students home with head lice is being reconsidered. Those stories and more ahead on Lindenwood News. Welcome to this edition of Lindenwood News. I'm Kyle Sixta. The St. Charles mayor is pleased with how the temp tag plan is going. St. Charles Mayor Dan Borgmeyer asked for the people's help with reporting expired temp tags about a month ago. He said he was getting complaints from the residents of the city. He also said there's not enough police force to spend so much time on these expired tags. The city's received over 1,500 reports from the first month alone. These illegal tags are a result of people not paying sales taxes on recently purchased vehicles. In addition, the St. Charles mayor is starting a new program to prevent speeding in neighborhoods. He says residents are tired of their lives and their children's lives being put in danger. This applies to all vehicles, including golf carts. This program will have zero tolerance and citations will be issued much more often. Borgmeyer's main goal is to raise awareness and for citizens to be more considerate of speed limits. Schools are trying to figure out if kids with head lice should be sent home from school. Multiple health experts have been advocating for the discontinuation of the policy to send kids with head lice home. According to the CDC, Missouri Department of Elementary Education, students should receive treatment at home. They say students can return to class after the first treatment has begun. The CDC says head lice is not considered a medical or public health hazard. Parents often overcorrect when their child has head lice, resulting in unnecessary absences. Straight ahead on Lindenwood News, the Hamas terrorist group releases footage of a 21-year-old that was taken hostage. More details on that coming up.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. Basically, he had to relearn everything. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Hamas terrorists release a video of a 21-year-old Mia Shem taken hostage. In the footage, Shem asks to be returned home to her family. Her arm is also injured but being treated by an unidentified medical worker. Shem says she is being held in Gaza and was being well treated. Shem was abducted on October 7th from the Supernova Music Festival where hundreds were killed. This is the first video released by Hamas of a hostage allegedly speaking from captivity. Terrorist attacks in the Israeli desert leave 260 people dead. The Israeli Recovery Organization says thousands of people were enjoying a music festival when Hamas militants attacked. One festival goer says he saw rockets launched from Gaza. He saw victims on their knees at gunpoint while some were able to flee. He says the terrorists are holding people captive and chasing some all the way to edges of cliffs. Witnesses say the hospitals are overwhelmed with people from the festival needing to be treated. Canada's House Speaker is apologizing for praising a Ukrainian man who fought for the Nazis in World War II. 98-year-old Yaroslav Hunka got a standing ovation in Parliament after the Speaker of Canada's House of Commons called Hunka a hero. The comment was made during a visit by Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. Canadian Jewish group says it was troubling that a former Nazi that participated in the genocide of Jews was celebrated. Canada's House Speaker issued an apology once he realized the mistake. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau calls the situation deeply embarrassing. 2 Alaskan wildlife troopers save a couple of deer struggling to swim in freezing waters. The 2 deer were discovered swimming between islands around 4 miles offshore. The troopers stopped their boat and allowed the deer to climb on board, helping them half the way on. Once they got the deer back on land, the troopers watched them struggle to get their bearings. After a couple minutes, the deer were able to get to their feet and trot off safe and sound.
Up next on Lindenwood News, the first major snowfall for this winter begins. We'll tell you more about where the flakes will fall after the break.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.
Where's your emergency?
Everyone's on their way. What happened? Your friend's not breathing. She's dead? Yes, please get my mom and dad. Oh my God!
Starting with our national map, winter begins with a wide spread of snow in the U.S. this week. A cold front from Canada will cause snow to fall early Tuesday from Northern California all the way to South Dakota. Over in the east, Hurricane Tammy moves away from the Caribbean islands and travels up the Atlantic. It's only a Category 1 hurricane at the moment and is expected to weaken even more. Flooding could be a concern as storms hit the south and most of Texas this week. Here in St. Charles, we have not yet reached any drastic cold weather. There's a high of 79 and a low of 64 for today with some light rain this morning. Maryland Heights will have a high of 77 and a low of 65 today. It's a bit warmer in St. Louis with temperatures reaching 81. In O'Fallon, the high is 77 and the low is 63. St. Peter's has a high of 77 and a low of 64. This should be the last week of warm weather for eastern Missouri. Taking a look at our 5-day forecast, it is a stormy week ahead for St. Charles. Wednesday is a high of 79 and a low of 64 with light rain in the morning. Thursday is a high of 78 and a low of 63 with some rain coming in the evening. Friday, a high of 81 and a low of 56 with isolated thunderstorms. Saturday, we see a high of 64 and a low of 63, thunderstorms continuing. And lastly, on Sunday is a high of 67 and a low of 52, more storms. Stay dry this week, St. Charles. Back to you, Yesenia.
Up next on Lindenwood News. 5 new sports are being planned for the 2028 LA Olympics, and one of them brings an American theme. More after the break.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere, and just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Remember the best planned 90 minutes of your life? Or that surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Welcome to sports for your Wednesday. The St. Louis Blues beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 4-2. Braden Saad scored twice and Jordan Bennington stopped 31. The Blues took control with 2 goals in the second period. Neighbors snapped a 1-1 tie for the Blues as Kapanen made a nifty move around the defender and passed to him for the tap-in. Perico made it 3-1 at 7:12 seconds. Bennington made a couple of pad saves as Pittsburgh pushed to get back in the game. Saad scored his second goal with less than 5 seconds left in third, winning the game. St. Louis City SC dropped its regular season finale 2-0 to the Seattle Sounders FC. City SC closed its regular season with a 5-12 record and 56 points. That's good enough for first place in the Western Conference. City also set a record for most games won by MLS expansion team in their first year, but missed the record for most points by 1. It is not the finish to a regular season that St. Louis SC fans were hoping for, but their first run at playoffs is right around the corner. 5 new sports are being planned for the 2028 LA Olympics. Organizers in Los Angeles are working on adding more team-related sports for the Olympic return to the United States after 32 years. Flag football, being the main contender for the addition, brings a distinctly American theme to the games. Other games on the list are baseball, softball, along with lacrosse, squash, and cricket to round it all out. With flag football being familiar to the home fans in LA, cricket will bring a steeper learning curve to the games. That's all for sports. Back to you, Kyle.
And finally, Lindenwood plans its annual homecoming event for 2023. A week-long event welcoming alumni and freshmen alike to celebrate the university and enjoy events around the city. It takes place from October 30th to November 4th with a ton of activities spread across the week, from spirit weeks to celebrating returning alumni to athletic events and full gala. The theme for this year's homecoming is Once Upon a Time. More information about homecoming can be found on the Lindenwood website. That's it for this edition of Lindenwood News. I'm Kyle Sixta. Thanks for joining us.